If you're not aware of your physical body, forget about talking of the energy. It only stays in the limitation of talking only. It doesn't become your experience of what chakras and nadis meant to. When we talk about the spirituality, this becomes important. But there is no point in searching spiritually without you paying attention to your body, because we are still a Annamaya Kosha holding this physical body, and that physical body need to be nurtured. The word chakra means spinning wheel. This is supported, the spinning is supported by the prana.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Illuminating Dialogues number 26. We have the pleasure and really grateful to talk to Dr. Sujatha Kekada again, all the way from Bali. How are you today, Dr. Sujatha?
I'm very well. Thank you, Jhoty. Thanks for having me again. It's always fun and nice to discuss, and it feels like we are connecting and understanding, bringing another deeper level of understanding for me too as we discuss this and share with the audience.
And I'm really just grateful for your time and wisdom to share with us. I think actually I didn't expect quite a few thousand people have tuned into our podcast so far from around the world. So it's just a pleasure to take this time and share. So if you haven't watched the previous podcasts, they're on the previous episodes, I believe, on dosha cycles, introduction to Ayurveda. This is actually our fourth podcast together. So today we're going to go through chakra doshas. We went through chakra previously with Punuwasu, but this will be more in an anatomy format from Ayurvedic lens. So hopefully we're going to go through the subtle body to the gross koshas, the purpose of some of the chakras, and also maybe the practices that you do in your practice in Bali. So before we get into all of these together, maybe we could just start with understanding about really the kosha system or the Ayurvedic system. How does it see the human body in terms of koshas? Because coming from studying anatomy from the Western world, kosha is not something I've come across before.
Mm-hmm. From Ayurvedic perspective, we look into sharira, body, and we look into manas, mana, the mind, intellect. So when we're talking about the body, we pay more attention to what we call annamaya kosha. What is anna is food, the kosha, the layer which is sustained by food, which is made out of food. So that's the physical structure which is made out of dhatu, the body tissues, made out of panchamahabhuta, the five elements, and doshas are the physiological factors which reflects the panchamahabhuta and its qualities, and that's how the life is sustained. And the sustenance of the life continues through the food we eat, the air we breathe, and the doshas working on it. And as a result of that, we get energy, renewal of body tissue, and the waste. So this cycle continues, and basically we focus on the annamaya kosha. And then we have got, shrotasas supporting that. And then we have got pranamaya kosha. That's something which is we talking about the prana circulation. This is an energy body. I think these two are the main koshas that we talk about. And then we also talk about kosha also means for us the digestive system. So the one which is related to the annamaya kosha. So keeping the digestive system healthy, which supports the physical body of the annamaya kosha, and which will reflect in the manas, the mind. Food is directly connected with the mind as well. So it's not a separate entity. If you eat sattvic food, your mind reflects the sattvic qualities. If you eat rajasic and tamasic food, your mind reflects rajas and tamas.
Okay, so we've got these different kosha layers. So how many of these kosha layers are there? Can they be split distinctly?
It depends on which class you look into. There's yoga talks about different koshas. Pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, or annamaya kosha. Like in Ayurveda, we only talk about mostly the annamaya kosha related, because Ayurveda is a science dedicated to health and well-being. And then you take the part journey in yogic philosophy. Then you talk about all the different seven koshas, the seven layers of your existence, which which in an Ayurvedic way, we can consider the 7 dhatus, the body layers or the tissues that we have, which starts from the rasa dhatu, which is the primary nutrition that your body forms from the food we eat. And then that nurtures all the other tissues or all the other koshas or all the other layers of our physical body. So the final one is being Shukra Dhatu, which is the sperm and ovum, which is reproductive tissue, which continues life, sustains life after this physical body leaves. So whatever the experience, the memory, which is continued or passed on to another generation. So this is how the body constantly tried to survive. In the mind level also, like Ayurveda and yoga believes when we die, Sukshma Sharira, which leaves this physical body, which contains the experience that we have made through our sense organs, and the mind and the spirit. So this is the Sukshma Sharira that leaves, and that way it continues our karmic and knowledge and buddhi and intelligence. And then we have the physical level, our body try to exist and continue through the sperm and ovum. So in between, from the food converting into different tissues or different layers and supporting that, and then the life continue to sustain in its energetic form when the physical body just doesn't exist anymore.
Okay, and these 7 dhatus are equivalent to the 7 koshas, or is this something different?
It's different. In a gross way, we can call this is saffron kosha or the layers. But as I said, in a spirituality, it's very different. When Ayurvedic medical system, the koshas are different.
Okay, got you. So then when we're looking into the purpose of the 7 main chakras and nadis, which sort of kosha layer or dhatu would this belong to?
Here, the Annamaya kosha disappears. This is the essence of the kosha related to energetic existence. So the manas related, the mind related kosha plays a big role in here because it's the energy body, the energy layer. Pranamaya kosha you can relate to. So the kosha which is connected to prana, which is a life-sustaining energy that binds each and every existing organism, which survives or continues to connect through breath. So this is a pranamaya kosha. So chakras are mainly connected to the pranamaya kosha and then to the mind or the manovaha shrotas or nadi connected to the mind.
And why may it be important in Ayurveda or people getting into this understanding to understand more of their body and to empower themselves to take more in charge of their health, to understand the chakras? So maybe you can give an introduction into why it's important and really what is the chakras and what is the nadis for people who haven't heard these words before.
Okay. See, before we dive or anybody want to develop their knowledge or enhance their well-being in the chakra and nadi level, I would invite you all to be mindful of your doshas, your body, and nurture that. And following, I think in the previous episodes, we talked about the influence of the time, the rhythm of the body, and connecting with the rhythm of the nature, respecting that, honoring that, giving nutritious, wholesome, natural food, getting good sleep, indulging in the activity which is meaningful. So this has to start first before we all want to think about nadis and chakra, because also it's become such a popular thing, like a chakra massage or chakra balancing things and so many things. Because if you're not aware of your physical body, forget about talking of the energy. It only stays in the limitation of talking only. It doesn't become your experience of what chakras and nadis meant to. And these are the sciences introduced in yogic text and all those things. So when we talk about the spirituality, this becomes important. But there's no point in searching spiritually without you paying attention to your body, because we are still a Annamaya kosha holding this physical body, and that physical body need to be nurtured and harmony need to be experienced in whatever dosha combination you're born with. And that in the mind level then reflects into sattva, and then it will work on chakras. And once you have practiced this and have this awareness, then if you want to cultivate the energy in the chakras, the word chakra means spinning wheel. something which is round and rotates. So this spinning is supported by the prana. So prana here, not just the breath, but breath can become prana, which is a life force that comes primordially when our life begins in our mother's womb. So sperm and ovum unite together to form this embryo, and the life force comes in. That's the beginning of the prana takes place. And then our job is to maintain that prana and keep the prana flowing in the channels. So chakras are this energy body, spinning wheels. This supports this energy in the microcosmic level. So we have 7 different chakras, starting with Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, so on. So this also represents our evolution spiritually and energetically. When we are born, we are tamasic in nature, means we depend on things. We are jada, that means cannot move much, right? So human babies, we cannot walk until we are 2 years old, right? So still, that means we are so dependent on our parents and our existence and survival, unlike other animals. So Muladhara is the chakra related to your existence, having that connection, safety, shelter, food, that part being nurtured, and your relationship to that, and feeling that naturally comes, that abundance is there, and you're not scared and worried and feeling the scarcity of it. That's how it will reflect in your chakra level of your life experience. And Swadhisthana is your expression of who you are, your identity as male and female, sexual experiences, all those things, because it is needed for the life to continue. So it's created there. You feel safe, your existence is there, then you think of reproduction. Okay, so that kind of. And then comes the Manipura chakra, so which is the first 2 chakras are more related to kapha as a dosha. And the Manipura chakra is related to more of a pitta, and Anahata above, it's related to more of a vata dosha. So it's related to a higher, subtler energy, no more the physical grossness is related. And Mahabhuta wise also, the first chakra is earth, then water, Manipura is fire, and then so on the air and the space chakra existence. So when you're in the space of realizing and feeling the space and the air together, then it's a state of liberation. You're fully connected. So you're not connected just in the material world, you connected beyond. So this is how the relation of the dosha to chakras, and how we can cultivate. And those things, whatever you do to have sattvic quality, whatever you do to cultivate more prana, having your prana circulate harmoniously, this will help your chakras health. When emotions plays a big role, because your mind communicates to the body through the prana, and prana is sensitive to emotions. So that means emotionally you're stable, you have an understanding, your emotional expression is healthy. It also reflects on prana circulating healthily, and then giving this fuel. It's like an oxygen for burning the flame, or a windmill, the wheel to spin. So it's a healthy prana moving into each chakra, and then helping to uplift you spiritually as your chakras start to spin and energized as you spiritually grow. And nadis are nothing but bringing prana to these chakras. So your nadis start at the base chakra, and then we have sushumna in the middle. So imagine you have this middle core, and that's a sushumna, and then in the middle of each there's a chakra, and then from the bottom, from the Muladhara chakra, the nadis begins, and then it begins from the Muladhara chakra, goes into the second chakra, and then branches again, branches again, branches again. So in this way, parallel to your sushumna, these nadis are moving. So, and nadis externally, it's another interesting point. Externally on the surface of your body is connected to what we call marma, the energy centers.
Okay. And what would these energy centers or marma points be?
Okay. Marma points are almost like a switches. So, like how we have the switch or the button, you switch on, the light glows, or the AC starts, or, it reduces or increases, whatever that switch meant to do. So marma points are the switches on the external surface of our body. It's also like micro chakras, you can say. And this is used in acupressure treatment, acupuncture treatment, or in Ayurveda and marma chikitsa treatment to manipulate these marmas to get the desirable effect. If some nadis are overflowing, then you want to manipulate the marma in a way that the overflow, the rush is going to calm down. And if then some nadis are blocked and stuck, you're going to manipulate with applying some pressure or medicinal paste application, aromatherapy to remove the blockages so that the flow of prana can go easy to the different chakras, that wherever in your life your focus is, attention is for what you're seeking in your life. If you're seeking for a material world, you would work on establishing that, fulfilling that. Once you've done that, your sexual identity orientation, once you finish that, you will see, okay, what can I do for the world? Bringing purpose and meaning through your Manipura chakra. Once you do that, you don't attach your identity to that anymore. And that naturally happens. And you look into, feeling a sense of love and connection, reduced separation sense. And then when it go to, your throat chakra and stuff, it's a further liberation and your speech becomes influence you. That's how all the saints and who have achieved these things, so they'll go around and speak and bring awareness and help other people. So this is how the process starts.
And I think what you said at the start as well about, and we covered this in previous episodes, about grounding ourselves in our bodies and making sure the doshas are balanced, because especially like we mentioned, vata people may have a tendency to skip, let's say, the grounded layers and go to that area. So I'm wondering if we can, and I'll put graphics up on the Shushumna and the other areas as viewers are watching this as well. I wonder if we can start to just go back and spend some time on each chakra. So now that we've had our overview, if we can spend some time just starting on the Muladhara chakra, really understanding how this could become unbalanced, and in a medical terminology, how this could lead to certain illnesses or imbalances, and also how strengthening this can lead to certain areas of strengths in their life as well. So maybe we can focus one chakra at a time, the name, the dosha, and the element as well. So we can start with Muladhara.
Muladhara chakra is a basic chakra, your survival, all those things. So once that we feel safe, you experience a very solid health, feeling comfortable, confidence, and having sense of abundance and enough sense of feeling. When that's not there, people constantly can suffer from insecurity, fear of existence, feeling unsafe wherever they are, lacking, malnourishment, physical level of feeling, nourishment is not coming in, not loved, these kind of feelings. So not grounded, simply to say they will constantly feel ungrounded, no matter whatever is there, and can suffer from problems physically related to hemorrhoids, constipation, prolapses, all those things. Like the stability, groundedness is not there when the Muladhara chakra in a subtle level is affected, other than emotionally feeling of insecure, not loved, safe, protected, this sense. So that's related to Muladhara chakra. And then
and then
any other questions?
so the Muladhara chakra is also related to the earth element. So practices someone could do is perhaps grounding, or is there any sort of foods or exercises that they can do in that sense?
To support Muladhara here, dosha wise, even we have vata, pitta, kapha, and each dosha has got 5 different classification. The focus would be to anything to do with apana vayu. The vayu, it's a beautiful example. One of my teachers described apana vayu as the vayu that anchors. It's like a kite, kite is constantly moving. Imagine generally vata is energy which moves. And among that, apana vayu is like a somebody who anchors it, the person who holds the kite. Holds the
Okay.
kite and knows to, maneuver, and the kite is still held, on the earth. So that's what the apana vayu function is. It
Okay.
supports the other vayu, including the prana vayu, the samana vayu, which is related to the digestion, vyana vayu related to the circulation. So vayu, we just talking, think of something as an initiator and starts movement, any kind of movement in our body, something initiates cellular breaking, like a multiplication cell, something which initiates with just, this initial touch, like it's in the atomic bomb, the one reaction that starts and then it continues and explodes. So the explosion, you can see it is coming from a pitta. And then what are the, after the explosion, the result of the energy, and that used in multiple different things, that's again related to kapha. So the apana vayu balancing exercises, squatting, a lot of horse poses, or making sure that you follow the morning routine to make yourself grounded, go to bed early, different asana practices, and there are some mantras also. We'll not talk about it. Maybe we can talk in another session. So some practices that we could do. So basically, you want to have grounded feeling, and whatever that helps you to grounding. That in basically vata imbalance of people with vata constitution, having a morning routine, eating, sitting down, and focus on your food, eating at least 3 meals a day, warm food, all those things helps you feel grounded and feeling comfortable in your body. And that's going to reflect in your energy body as well. And then yoga, definitely, gentle pranayamas, prayer, meditation, all those things will anyway help all the chakras, but it will start at the root chakra.
Yeah, and definitely even going into nature sometimes helps me feel that sense of grounding as well. Walking barefoot, does that have an effect on the energy of the body at all?
Yes, it grounds. It's like a electromagnetic field, so that it connect your body's magnetic field with the earth, and we call it earthy, right? So it helps to ground you.
Wow, okay. Yeah, so that must have an effect on that chakra. So as we move
Mhm.
into the second chakra, which is Swadhisthana,
Mhm.
if you could maybe give yours again, that element, that dosha, and certain strengths of this
Mhm.
chakra, but also an imbalance. How can this show up in the different kosha layers as a illness
Mhm.
or disease?
Mhm. Swadhisthana, it's related to your sexual orientation, sexual experience, expression, reproductive system, all those things related to. So it's like, when the puberty reaches, that energy gets much more awareness and activation takes place there. Nurturing that way, the healthy passage to adulthood. Particularly, this is a tradition that we follow, I think, in different tribes in the ancient time, and also for women particularly, because if you talk about the masculinity, femininity, or a purusha and prakriti, females are the creative energy. We bear children and care them and protect them, right? So when a girl attends puberty, so that's treated as a special day, and all the things needed to nurture her body and understand the cycle. And it is true that our body becomes very vulnerable during our menstruations time, because our body goes through a lot of oxidation process. So at that time, following the routines and rituals of, in the olden times, there's used to be called as a red tent, and a lot of taboo around it, but it was really created for women to have some nurturing, restful time, so they don't need to be doing all the responsibility they do on a day-to-day basis. So because their body is vulnerable, body is sensitive, so to respect that, when we attain this adulthood, both young men and young women, understanding that, and what does it mean for a man to be becoming an adult, respecting their strength and power, and connecting to other men in the society, respecting women and understanding that, and for the women to understand her body is ready to reproduce, and the menstruation, how to support. So this is something really beginning of it, to understand that and how to respect our body and nurture our body and the divine femininity. What does it mean? And
Mm.
not feel that as a weakness, but coming to empowerment, but doesn't mean that you need to be rude and rough and tough like men. So claiming your power doesn't mean, but being in that nurturing but empowerment, and assertive but calm. So this is the feminine energy. So that comes from embracing that, and that also support your swadhisthana chakra, feeling the energy there, because you totally feel who you are and you feel empowered and you don't feel weak. And
Mm.
that psychologically, that need to happen for your Swadhisthana chakra to having healthy energy. When that doesn't happen, again, these chakras related to vata again. So the imbalance of menstrual disturbances, hormonal imbalances, and how to say, the sexual energy is not channeled, guided in a healthy, harmonious way. So it can create a lot of painful or unpleasant experience sexually, all those things related to then the emotions embedded in that, fear embedded in that. So all those things could be seen as an imbalance when a person experiences, so the Swadhisthana chakra is disturbed. And related gynecological disorders and diseases can manifest. So it's the same for both men and women too.
Mm. And what element is this related to?
It's water.
Water, okay.
Mhm.
And as you're explaining that, there's connection, so human being connection, even with your community, your tribe, your family. Does the Swadhisthana play a role in this as well?
Yes, our experience always connected, not only our own personal experience, right? It's also experience what we have as a whole, as a family. And also, I also believe because genes carries the memories, right? So whatever experience your ancestors had, to a degree, that's passed on to you. So our responsibility is to recognize those tendencies, to see, okay, this is not mine, and to work on to not become habitually getting sucked into some of the patterns that our ancestors continue. Like, we learn about eating certain way, we grow up in different cultures, so this is ancestral thing passed on. So how come the other things of how we think about money, how we think about sexuality, how we think about other gender, or whatever the trauma they experienced, it can also be passed on. So for us, knowing our ancestral experience system, to know, okay, this is there, this turbulence is there, and you identifying that, and you don't become an automatic activator of that. So this is something for you to know certain things, and that's why it's important for you to be feeling safe and grounded in your own self, who you are, and creating your own choices and stuff, and not entangled by anything that comes from the ancestry. So it could be a
Mm.
right guidance things too. And this is something also parents to think in that way, to understand that. But now it's a chance for us. We might become, so whoever is listening to, you might become a parent at some points, for to see that if any tendency and patterns that you suppressed or you sustained, you didn't wanted it, now it's a time for you to not to do the same, because we end up doing certain things the way we were treated, because automatic, right? At that moment when we experience, we know that was not right and we didn't like it. But when we get older or become a parent, we think this is the way to do it. It's just such an automatic belief embedded in your psyche and in your thinking. So this is also something to identify any kind of identity issue or sexual energy, the taboos around it or experience around it, and not making your sexual joy and experience to hide from something else. So it's a healthy expression of, physical experience of love and intimacy. So just to make it as clean and connected and honest as possible. So that's where you can nurture your Swadhisthana chakra beautiful.
Amazing. And I think it just speaks to the depth of the ancient Indian wisdom in Ayurveda as well. How deep it goes, not just to our body health, but psychological health. Because through the Carl Jung or Freudian psychology, maybe we only got so far, like the thoughts of the parents or the ancestors. But here we're talking about being in the body, these patterns So I think it will give people maybe a greater understanding of actually to empower themselves and find where this is happening emotionally inside.
Mm-hmm.
So as people move from this Muladhara we covered and the Swadhisthana, and so far it seems to that our old societies, the way of operating, already had these chakra almost balancing or grounding embedded into the culture and society. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm very interested as we move into the third chakra, so the Manipura chakra.
Mm-hmm.
Manipura
Mm-hmm.
chakra. If you can also give us again the element, the dosha, and how can people start to nurture this sort of imbalances that occur, why they occur, and then what happens when we start to strengthen this.
Mm-hmm. Manipura chakra it's a fire chakra and it's governed by pitta as an energy. Pitta is energy of transformation. So Manipura chakra for our transformation in identifying ourselves with our existence, how we can transform to make a difference, our achievements and expression of who I am, what my gifts are, what my talents are, how I integrate myself into the world. So recognition, all those things. So if your Manipura chakra is working well, your satisfaction of in your profession, your purpose, meaning, making a difference to the world and connecting, and that would be well developed and well manifested. And if that's not happening, then your Manipura chakra can also suffer, and the energy is not going well, and then you can experience a lot of anger, frustration, bitter, hatredness, all those qualities that would be felt. But if it is going well, then you would come as a very charismatic, influencing. But again, as to see this, not identifying with this, whole growth. Our growth is being in the physical realm, achieving all those things, enjoying all the pleasure, but not depending and identifying ourselves. Spirituality is nothing but differentiating between what's real and what's not real, and again able to enjoy what's real but not identifying yourself to what's not real, but still keeping focus on what's real.
Mm. And how might people start to boost their lack of solar plexus energy there in that Manipura chakra?
Simple thing, they would lot of trouble with digestion, because digestion is also another expression of food transforming into your body's tissue and your well-being, right? People suffer from digestive issues, too much of acidity or lack of acidity in digestion, gas, bloating, constipation, all those digestive related issues, or liver and pancreatic issues can be manifested when the Manipura chakra level, the energy is not working well, which is a physiological trouble, but it will affect on the energy level too.
So the energy level trouble can happen first and then the physiology occurs first, or
Both way can go in hand. It's
okay.
like chicken or the egg first. That
Mm.
because mind and the body is constantly working, but we separate the mind. That's how we were taught to, right? So you only think of the mind, and when it is big problem happens in the mind and body is constantly interacting. You think and feel that if your body experience through different chemicals. So it's an autopilot thing. Sometimes you don't even think, so it becomes so engraved in you, certain patterns and certain things, so we automatically do things or move towards something or grab something without thinking. This is just a autopilot mind's action, subconscious mind, another word to say that. So it's gradually happening. So you have a negative emotions, anger, frustration can affect your physical body and upset the fire, and then you eat the food, it doesn't digest well, it burns or acidifies, and then it affects the mind. You feel more agitated and angry. So it just goes in a cyclic pattern, one affects the other. Continue.
And could you remind us of this fire, the name of the fire? I think we covered it in an earlier episode as well.
I think it's called pachaka pitta,
Yes,
that
okay.
what digests.
Okay, so people who have maybe a lack or something's off with their Manipura chakra, when they start to increase this Manipura energy, they can start to digest much better and they'll have less sort of maybe IBS could be a result of this as well.
Yes,
Okay.
IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, or anything. Just commonly people feeling gassy, bloated, lack of appetite, anorexia, all those things affects this. Bulimia, all those things.
Okay, yeah, that would be really helpful for the viewers to know like how where that disease is actually controllable and where in the body they can start to look to. So as we start to rise up to the Anahata chakra, the fourth chakra, how again like the element associated with this, and then sort of yeah, it's quite an interesting one. How does it kind of come off center, and what kind of happens when it comes off center, and how do we strengthen it?
Usually, as we go up, the lack of imbalance troubles reduces.
Okay.
Okay, so until the Manipura chakra is the most challenging area because it's still related to the physical body. We are kind of deluded, right? So it's related to physical. Once you reach the heart chakra, it's liberation, and that's why it's also vata related. So it's a pure sense of vata flowing, connecting, limitlessness start to happen. There's no limit for it's an expansion, joyfulness, bliss. That's what we call experience. So that start to happen without having to have any external reason for it. It's not like you're having a nice car, or somebody's nice to you, or you won a lottery, or you made a lot of money. None of these things matters. You enter into a state of more of feeling peaceful, appreciation, joyful, all those things. So for this, you got to work on your other three chakras, and once that's done, then you see this in a general one, unless you don't know anybody's like when doshas or chakra and stuff. Somebody who is brought up nicely, content, grew up healthy, innocent, and proper identity to their sexuality, and had a great experience, had all these things, had a great success, and all those things, and the person is looking into their growth and they're into Anahata chakra, there's no issue anything. So whatever we needed to experience in our life, we have experienced. That's also the one of the Ayurveda and yoga both describes that we have four purposes in our life. That's dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So, the kama state is until Manipura chakra. So, the understanding of environment, society, fulfilling our desires, all those things. Once that's done, then only we can look into spiritual growth and spirituality, all those things. Not when we're in pain. Yes, we think of when we're in too much of pain, we think we want to end this. And then we think, okay, I want to become a monk and release all these things. It's a good thinking, but not to just this is not working. One can, like a Gautama Buddha, he saw the suffering and he wanted to renounce all those things and wanted to find a meaning for that, right? So that's how he renounced being a prince and went into the forest in search of truth and how to release others from the same pain he felt. So that's another way to move forward, and another way is to you experience everything what your senses need to experience, and then you understand there is to feel this good or feel connected, you could do it without all these things. And when you reach a Anahata chakra, you start to experience this joy and bliss and connectedness without needing a reason for it.
And how can people start to notice if the Anahata chakra is maybe it's not quite balanced, or they want to look into starting to balance this or connect to their heart energy?
Working on, like, heart gets affected by grief, sadness, feeling disconnected, isolation, so that it's you lack connection, you isolate yourself from others, or you judge yourself, you feel insecure, you feel unloved or unloving. So all those things to change, to connect and feel that you are nothing different than another person. It's just a person is expressing something differently, and you could also have a choice to do that and connect to yourself. So I think working on grief, sadness, and identifying themselves those things, and making connection, self-love, self-care, and taking responsibility for their happiness and going out and trying something new to connect and nurture themselves. These things can help to, open up their Anahata chakra.
Hey everybody, sorry to interrupt your podcast, but if I could take the time to ask you if you could please subscribe to this channel. This would help me as I grow the channel to share the deep knowledge and wisdom of our guests, and I'd love to share that I'm offering one-to-one coaching if you want to dive deeper and know what lights you up in a safe and professional manner, to do things wholeheartedly for a career you like, and to do things such as meditation, dive into your personality with certain Eastern and Western tools. And I'd love to share with you some of the testimonials I've had from previous clients. So if that floats your boat and you'd like to go slow to go far, then you can have a free strategy session with me. You can visit my website, Jhoty.com. That link should be in the description. Enjoy the rest of the podcast. So a little bit of boundaries and understanding the worth of the self as well, and the worth of others.
Yeah.
Great.
And heart diseases, congestive heart failures, lung, asthma, respiratory issues can be the trouble area when the Anahata chakra is not working well.
Okay, what way specifically would it not be working well that would cause such issues in the heart or lungs?
Heart and lung is a seat of joy. Heart is a seat of joy too, and also it's a seat of sadness. When joy is not there, it can be filled up with sadness. So loss, grief, sadness, three emotions can affect the Anahata chakra, feeling blocked and disconnected, in the state of depression, all those things. So grieving, healing that, and finding a meaning and purpose can help to heal the grief and connect with joy, and to see the presence of love around us, or the experience of joy through things, and finding a meaning for their life and connecting to others. So this way, that Anahata chakra, whatever is blocked from some life experiences, healing that emotions, healing that loss, can help in opening up the Anahata chakra.
And yeah, I think music as well for me helps process a lot of emotions. Rag,
yeah.
I think ancient
Different
Indian.
ragas actually works on different chakras. Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, just maybe before we go on to the fifth, maybe we could talk a bit about how rag in certain ways work on these chakras and how it helps process these emotions, if you want to speak into that.
Particularly the raga related to the Bansuri flute. Have you heard of that? The Krishna flute. Today, by the way, it's Janmashtami. Do you know that?
Oh, no, actually, I don't.
It's Krishna's birthday, basically.
Okay.
This
Happy birthday.
Krishna was born. So the sustainer, the Leela, the maintainer of our existence. So, Krishna's flute, that's what all the gopikas, the Radha and all the, the gopikas who were, blissfully in love with Krishna. So he used to play the flute. And that's when they heard this flute, they all used to, with devotion, used to go looking for Krishna. So Krishna flute, the Bansuri flute music, that's one way to awaken, heal the heart chakra, actually.
Okay. Yeah, that's a really super practical thing, I think, for people to go and YouTube. And maybe the first three chakras, like you were saying, connected to the physical body. Is there any such ragas that they can connect to for connecting to these chakras?
The drum is a great chakra to get the safety and release the fear and things. Drums for the Muladhara. for the Swadhisthana to do the sounds with the water element. I really don't know the name of this. Is a new instrument which looks like a
hand
big
pan.
ball.
Hand pan,
Yes,
yeah.
that one would be really good for the Swadhisthana
Okay.
chakra. Yeah, and Manipura chakra, anything to do with the sitar, to
Ah,
Western voice piano, all those things really healing for the Manipura chakra.
amazing. Yeah, I never thought this conversation would go in this way, but yeah, it's really helpful for the viewers to also connect to that music, that ragas, and connect to that emotion, especially as you were saying, for healing for your parents, for your ancestors, for your children as well. As we move on from the fourth to the fifth, I'm also curious to talk about, of course, the element, but also the thyroid, how it can play a role in the thyroid expressing ourselves, and how this can become unbalanced, and how we can help balance this Vishuddhi.
Vishuddhi is the Udana Vayu, which is moving upward and doing all the functions of speech and bringing the knowledge through the speech, understanding all those things. So once the Vishuddhi, like it's purifying. So through the sound, Vishuddhi means different way to purify yourself. So using the sound, again, nada. So again, related to it's a cusp prana, vayu, again related to that. And yes, the thyroid issue. Thyroid is an organ, basically tells each and every cell what to do. So in symbolically, it's also for us to know what I want and going for it, expressing about it, being honest with it, honest communication. All those things matter. So how thyroid internally talks to each and every cell to do what to do. It's also we in a cross body wise listening to our inner voice, our needs, respecting that, and listening to our body's time to sleep or when we are hungry, what we are feeling. If somebody in day-to-day basis, honestly communicating, these all things matters to enforce or strengthen your Vishuddhi chakra or throat chakra. When that doesn't happen for a long time, that chakra shuts down, and the functioning internally, how it represent to your thyroid function, thymus function, parathyroid gland function, all those things would be affected in
Okay. Yeah, because
it's but the hormones are, yeah, go on.
yeah, the thyroid stimulating hormone and like thyroxine, all of that, yeah, like you were saying, affects all of these organs in the body. So how might people start to exercise this chakra and ensure that, yeah, this is able to not detrimentally affect such organs in the body?
Primary thing I would say, listen to your body when it is hungry, when it is thirsty, when it is tired, do what's needed. Just as simple. And whatever you feel, it doesn't mean, feelings doesn't mean that it need to be like if you're angry and go and hit somebody or just express it. Own the feeling because you're responsible for your feelings. Yes, external things can trigger those feelings, but owning the feelings and communicating that feelings. If you're angry about somebody's action or non-action, you have the right to express that instead of not expressing that, later on exploding or making out something about it, and then you concluding something and again you behaving differently. It's you're responsible for that. So one, listen to your body needs, connecting to your emotions, and like safely expressing that emotion, non-violent way of expressing that emotion, and asking for what your needs are and respecting other needs. So these are the primary things, listening work and connecting work you can start.
Okay.
So once start with yourself, listen to your body, listen to the need of the body, listen to your emotions, communicate that emotion, be honest with yourself, express your honest self.
Hmm.
Don't suppress it because you think the consequence is going to be unsafe. Yes, sometimes people have experienced that when they express them that, or they get beaten up, or are hurt or harmed. But find a way where you could be with those people that they are safe and you can express those things. And if you're in a relationship which is suppressive and you can't express that to yourself, and then they try to see how you can come out of that relationship where you respect yourself and you don't put yourself in that position.
Yeah, I think that's really powerful advice. Like you were saying about the relationship or processing emotions, again, going back to the ancestors or parents, if we're feeling that anger could come up in that chakra, the Swadhisthana, maybe that's restricting us because we don't feel safe because of maybe previous ancestors. So
Yeah.
finding a healthy way to not suppress and express. I think that was really powerful advice.
Yeah. And you can start with groups. There are different groups that you can go and talk and express yourself. And by communicating, expressing that yourself, you will feel empowered. That will might give you a courage to, stand up for yourself, really relationship, which is very abusive, all those things. So if people are wondering, well, who am I going to find to speak safely? There are groups. So there are other groups that people will connect who are abusive in relationship or things. So you can just have to look around and you'll find those communities that you can start sharing.
Fantastic. And it speaks to the depth again of Ayurveda and how deep for our human life it touches all aspects. Is there any instruments associated with this fifth chakra?
Your own voice.
Yeah.
Chanting some ragas and singing out loud.
Mantras.
Mantras, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because the voice is an instrument. So rising up now to the sixth ajna, again, how can this start to become unbalanced? Maybe people have not had too much experience here yet. So how can this become unbalanced? Maybe talking about discernment and how we can start to strengthen this area and what happens pathologically or disease-wise when it's not strengthened.
Agna chakra impairment is always related to your pineal gland, pituitary gland, because that's where you're, right in the middle if you perpendicularly from the crown. So anything to do with your pituitary gland imbalance, sense of disconnection, not having a sense of spirituality, all those things indicate your Agnya chakra is in a very rudiment or suppressed state. And for us to have that experience, our basic needs need to be fulfilled. Muladhara, Swadhisthana. So that need to be healed, and no trauma, no pain, and no holding on to that. So once those areas are clean, and then the energy can move up and Agnya chakra can be activated. So tumors in the spinal pituitary glands or sphenoid bone related disturbances, unexplained diseases of eyes. We're not talking about the vision related, which comes with the aging process or anything, but strong diseases of those things, eyes or these things would be an expression of your Agnya chakra, or chronic depression, anxiety, psychiatric diseases. All those things can relate to Agnya chakra being totally suppressed, and the prana is not flowing well to spin this the chakra.
Okay, and because the prana is not there, these pathologies occur. So just to go back to the 1 to 6 now we're at, do people sort of feel any physical sensations when they're focusing on a chakra? So when they're meditating, can they start to feel the physical sensations there? Or like you said previously, when you're expressing your voice, you can start to feel the prana activated. How can people start to notice this happening in the previous chakras, but also this one as well?
The classic way to meditate is recommended that you focus on this area, which is also, we say that it's a site of your Atman, or the spirit is concentrated in there. excuse me, in the Hindu culture, we put the bindi into that area, right? So, or the sandalwood paste or the kumkum, which is red, which represents the connection to the Shakti energy, or we put the ash, the bhasma, which represents the connection or awareness of Shiva energy, basically. So this is how those two different colors, or using chandana, applying that bit, that concentrate that spiritual energy that helps to activate the Agnya chakra energy. So I think because again it is again rays of prana vayu above, on a day-to-day basis, cultivating sattvic quality is the way to activate your Agnya chakra. So that sattvic quality, the way you think, the way you talk, what you eat, who you mingle with, what you watch, all those things going to reflect on your Agnya chakra. So just focusing on whatever builds sattva is going to, it's like when you lit the incense, the fume just goes. So every sattvic activity would do, it's that just going to go into reach your Agnya chakra and bring that energy, the fume there, that the essence of the sattvic action.
Okay, so who you mix with, what you're consuming in terms of watching, that also will start to change as this becomes more and more enhanced and
If
invigorated.
it's more enhanced, you will also have your more awareness. You don't like anymore. That's going to disturb that energy.
Okay, that makes sense. So in terms of energy alignment, and then coming back then to the top about the Sahasrara, again, what type of issues could occur? Again, the element related to this, and how this unbalance can occur, and what happens when it starts to become balanced.
The Sahasrara chakra is, the perfection of the spinning of the Sahasrara chakra is related to moksha, liberation. So I think the people, common people like you and me, who are into the material world and existence and all those things, we're not looking into liberating this body, at least not me at this stage. But having that awareness and cultivating that, I think the Sahasrara it's a total practice of renunciating everything and wanting to liberate and be one with God. So that thought, that effect that's what going to awaken the Sahasrara chakra, in my opinion, and from what I've learned and experienced. So until then, I think we relate to some other experience of the Agnya chakra to Sahasrara chakra. So I think that's a chakra final thing, not on average people, or what we're doing and we're trying to understand. We can't reach there. If reaching that means it's reaching liberation. So talking about the illnesses or imbalance, that's nothing we need to think and relate to any of our physical experience, because if you're in a perfection in your Agnya chakra, physical body doesn't matter anymore. So for us to talk on a day-to-day basis, is anything I can do to Agnya chakra, it's unnecessary. Sorry, to the Sahasrara chakra, it's unnecessary, because it's a chakra beyond physical realm and physical attachment.
Okay, so it's something that will happen just by that grace, or after.
Yes, exactly.
Progressing.
It just happens, it happens. Right? Nothing you have to do, only you start with an intention, you work with the other things, and that once the Agnya chakra, this is where this will get activated. What we talk, I'm a bit not concerned, I'm careful here using the word Kundalini, because it's misused, and so it's not. So it's the real Kundalini, the Parvati energy raising up through our practices in the Sushumna, and the Shiva is in your Sahasrara, reaching that, and that completes and it opens, the lotus opens and liberation happens. So the Shiva is already here. For us, because we are in a creation, we are in a Maya manifestation, the Shakti energy that we need to work and do things and fulfill, and so that Shakti energy need to move. And once it comes to the Agna, it will automatically would reach the Shiva in the Sahasrara. So you don't need to
Ah,
do anything on a daily basis, do Shirsasana, all those things. It's not for that.
I see. And I guess that's why people from the cultural understanding have the hair put in this area as well for certain practices.
Protection and identity. Yeah, identifying that.
Mm-hmm. So, and just to give a whole picture, we've been through all the chakras now and the illnesses and the balancing and the music as well. We're not just limited to 7 chakras. I understand there's much more in the body. So could you maybe give a hint to the viewers about the other chakras in the body and perhaps how we can just be aware of these as well?
The other chakras are related to what we call there's 107 marma points. So they are like a spinning energy centers. So that's what they're related to other chakra. But when we talk about in spirituality related to Sushumna, chakras present on the Sushumna is these 7 chakras, and which are connected by the different nadis, which starts from the Muladhara. And the energy centers are the marma points, 107. They are in a different part of the body, distributed, where they are connected to nadi. So those things you can manipulate in order to clear the energy channels, which brings the prana to different chakras. So this would be the knowledge from this 107 marma points that you can work on it. Basically, when we do proper yoga, you basically activate these 107 marma points in correcting the move of the prana. So that's why yoga is a method for liberation, spiritual practices. You start with asana, using the physical body, bend and turn and hold the breath. This is all activating the prana in the nadis. And then when you do the dhyana, dharana, samadhi, so the samadhi is a state of final liberation. Dhyana is focusing, stilly present. Dharana is completely immersed. And then so on.
Okay. And I think that's really helpful for people to know as well, just focusing on other areas of the body and how that flows. Because I recently actually had my first Ayurvedic massage a couple of weeks ago, and afterwards focusing on the marma points by someone who was trained in that lineage. And as a vata, I felt much more grounded afterwards because they focused on the marma points. Also, they were saying about the focus on the nabbi region or the belly button region. That's quite an important point. So I'm just wondering, according to Ayurveda, with your holistic practices and services that you do at the practice in Bali, if you could talk a bit about some of the practices. So I've seen, your theta healing, there's Abhyanga, there's Shirodhara, there's Panchakarma. A lot of people listening may not be familiar with this terminology. So perhaps we can pick up a few just to start to give a conclusion of all of the chakras and how these holistic practices can help these marma points and the body. So maybe we can just pick a few and we can start with perhaps theta healing.
Theta healing is a modality that I learned outside of my Ayurveda studies. Ayurveda talks about your mind need to be healed. Some patients you need to work through the physical body, some patients you need to work through the mind, some diseases you need to work in a spiritual way, some diseases you work through counseling. So this is what Ayurveda tells. You just need to, a smart Vaidya need to be knowing what works for the patient. So as I started practicing, I also started seeing some people come with a lot of emotional issues and hurt and pain and grief and loss and, all these things. So working through the medicine took so long. So I wanted to approach something to directly work with their mind. And as Ayurveda said that, sometimes for the working on the mind, you need different techniques, and you can use any techniques following the basic principles of Ayurveda. So working on the dosha. So I was in that search, and then I heard about somebody offering the session. I went and took that session for myself to work on some of the emotions and stuff. It made sense to me. So then I studied that. So then I became the practitioner. So I do use that quite often when I work with the patient. So their physical body is healing, repairing, but there's an old trauma, beliefs and patterns. That's something they still carry on. When I need to help them release those patterns and change those beliefs into the belief that helps them to grow and brings them confidence and healing, then I work with. So basically, theta healing is working on a subconscious mind to release the old patterns and belief system, because we are a bunch of beliefs. I believe in Ayurveda, I practice, and everything else would work for me because I'm looking and doing all those things. It's like a quantum physics. You look at things and it start to do certain action, right? So, so belief creates our actions, and actions creates our reality. So you can change your beliefs, and some of these beliefs are created by strong, impactful experiences. Some of these beliefs are carried from generation to generation, and if you believe in lifetime to lifetime, and from childhood, from our mother's womb, what our mother's experience, parent experience. This is also beautifully told in Mahabharata. Pradyumna, one of the Arjuna's son, he learned how to enter the Chakravyuha, one of the formation for during the war. So only he knew how to enter that, other than Arjuna. But he learned that while he was inside his mother's womb. So he heard about the whole story, how to go into that formation, the war formation, how the soldiers are in, but he did not listen to how to get out of it. So he goes in, he fights, but he dies because he cannot come out. He doesn't know how to come out of this maze of soldiers and the formation. So but he learned that while he was in mother's womb. So this is an example of what nowadays the researchers shows, that baby can listen to the music. So put the music to baby's mother's womb with the earphone. So same way that we form our belief and traumas and things while we are inside our mother's womb, which is inevitable. We have no option.
Wow.
It's so transparent. So we just take it. So from that, I see in certain things, people have the belief and patterns, which they don't know where it came from. And then you dig and you understand what happened while they were in the mother's womb and what happened to the mother. And they carry the same trauma and fear and pain of what happened to the mother. So theta healing helps in releasing and repairing these things.
And theta healing is the music, or is this talking?
Bringing your brain wave into the theta brainwave state, where
Okay.
you are directly connected to your subconscious mind. And in the subconscious mind, you carry the beliefs and trauma, pain.
Okay, perfect. And then thank you for explaining that. In terms of the more physical practices, in terms of panchakarma, bastis, I think we covered marma therapy, shirodharna. If you could maybe speak to these three modalities, and how do these work in terms of the koshas, releasing that and helping people come into more balance?
Abhyanga is a treatment of applying certain oil suitable for your health condition or your dosha and massaging yourself. So mainly known to release stress, balance the vata, ground the vata, and also it helps in once the vata is calmed down. It's like having a good circulation of air or oxygen for the fire to burn. So in this way, it helps the Agni, it relieves stress, it removes the dryness, it removes the exhaustion. So this is the purpose of doing Abhyanga. Ayurveda recommends as a part of the daily routine to do this self-Abhyanga in the morning before the shower. And the Panchakarma is a whole process, clinical process. Actually, this is used to treat a disease when doshas are excess and out of balance and your body is full of toxins and inflammation. So this is a clinical procedure to treat the body. And then Shirodhara is like Abhyanga, another treatment, pouring the medicated oil on the forehead to work with the, it also a good treatment to work on your third eye chakra by clearing your emotions and cleaning that. And it's a treatment used in psychological diseases, neurological diseases, and to anxiety, depression, all these issues.
Okay, and is to do with the absorption of the oil and also...
And the movement of the oil to the pressure.
Okay, that's what I noticed during the massage. There was certain ways it was moved, the oil. So is that also the pressure and the movement of the oil also works on the subtle marma points and the energy channels?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So yeah, thank you so much. There's so much knowledge again. So grateful for you to share this with all the viewers. I think it's so much needed knowledge in today's day and age. So grateful for this space. Is there anything else you'd like to leave viewers with, given what we've discussed regarding chakras and balancing?
Mhm. Nothing special, just, keep your curiosity, and feel it and understand it for yourself. You don't need to, follow someone blindly, because Ayurveda is a science, you can experience it. So it just going inwards, taking a moment and listen to your body, spend some time in the nature. Yeah, this is all.
Fantastic. And where can people find you on Instagram, your website, if they want to reach out for services in person or online?
You can reach me through our website, www.AmrtaSiddhi.com, or email info@AmrtaSiddhi.com. And our Instagram page is also called AmrtaSiddhi. So you can direct message us. And then follow us on Instagram. So we will post some information there, or I will be doing some online courses, all these things. So if you're interested and curious, you can get some information through our social media.
Fantastic. And I'll put all these links in the below. And there's an Ayurveda dosha quiz in case you don't know your dosha. I'll put that below as well. Great. Thank you so much, Dr.
You're very
Sujatha.
welcome, Jhoty.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for your curiosity and the great interest to share this with the world. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this. Bye-bye.